Welcome to the Seven Crosses series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 5th of September 1984. The focus of this video is going to be on some strategic planning out around Ollerton. But before that, as usual, a big thank you for your comments and feedback. You guys give me so much to think about. And this is and one of the comments is related to this gravel train where you've got a pretty good close-up of at the moment. And someone suggested that this is a wasted resource because this could be exporting its surplus gravel to the border, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And what it will mean is that I'll be able to stress test my gravel production as well. So what we're going to do is just set this to unload there, and what we should get then is, and we need to go into here and tell it not to wait, and then if we unpause, I don't want the game to run too long because I don't want to do my design work in the snow. What will happen is this train will start to pull away and pick up a little bit of momentum and hopefully start exporting gravel. Now in the same vein, in the same comment, somebody said that I needed to remove my gravel trucks. That's exactly what I've done. I've got the 3 dumpers that were exporting gravel are now in the vehicle depot. They're all a little bit old, unfortunately, but I'm going to keep them because they might be useful in the quarries if I actually need them going forward. And by the quarries, I mean up here, because these vehicles don't need speed. They just need a bit of carry capacity and a little bit of extra work in this area. Now, another thing I want to check before we move on to the next comment is it's just suddenly occurred to me that my gravel here, I can't remember where. I just want to check to make sure. I don't think it's this one. I think it might be this one. Yeah, Nikoma track pickup. Where is that? I don't think it's this one, is it? I still wondering whether these guys are kind of wandering all over. Yeah, this one here. You need to pick up your gravel from here now, not going all the way across the map, because that will also save me a little bit of fuel. And I think we're going to kind of push this to possibly 50% now. What that means is these guys will not have to go halfway across the map to get some gravel. Now the next comment I got was related to the auto build on my railway up here. And I'll be honest, I like to micromanage my track lane, but at the same time I like to take advantage of the fact that there's a kind of implied auto build that if you assign, say I've assigned these to this, they will keep going up this track until they get to a point where they can't make a decision, which would be possibly this crossroads, but they might actually go through this crossroads, so it might even get out as far as here. So at the moment I'm quite happy to let the trains just keep laying the track out this way until they get to a point where they stop. What I'd like to do is get past this point, because one of the problems I do have is, I'll show you the signals here, this is all treated as one block. So at the moment, only one train can work out past here. And there's no point putting a signal in here because there's a connecting line there. And I don't really want to split this unless I have to. Although I could put some signals in here. I put a couple of signals in the center here. So if I put, I'm not sure if it will let me place we put a semaphore there, semaphore there. Semaphore there, semaphore there. You see that splits it, and then if I put a semaphore there, that kind of splits the track up a little bit. That might improve the performance, because otherwise the problem is that because these tracks cross, this is all treated as one block, which is something that you need to remember. Now the next comment I got was related to this heating plant about using wood to heat major cities, because it's a finite resource. You've got to keep refreshing it. I really look forward to the day when the devs add on foresters so that you can keep planting trees. Although I'm sure we got lots of poplars in this area, but I think it's quite important to emphasize this is a temporary solution until we get this area up and going and we get our own coal mines going. And probably in the long term, once we've got the coal-fired heating plant over here up and running, I will probably turn this into manufacturing boards. It's one of the advantages of manufacturing boards locally is that, well, one, we could export them across the border up here, but also it just makes life a bit easier with shipping them around. Setting up a small board production area is quite straightforward. Now, I think another comment I got related to Tudor Village over here, which is going to be our tourist centre. I shouldn't call it Tudor Village, because it would start confusing me with respect to the Four Corners series. And somebody posted and saying that I needed to get a hotel in here, a pub, and some attractions in the form of museums. And that's what I want to do. But that is still going to remain a bit of a long-term project because we do really need to crack this area. But I'm going to come back to here and explain what's going on here in a little while. And I think that completes all the comments. If I can think of any others, I will weave them in as we go along. Now, before we get into any more design, I need to fix a couple of things. One is I'm looking into using a cableway. And I'll be completely honest, I've never really ever used cableways that much. So I was actually watching Bilbo Jones's video on just to get some tips on laying out cableways because I know he really likes them. And he actually put an aside comment that really got my attention. And that's to do with fire stations. And I'll be completely honest, I didn't know you could actually do this. And it actually solves this problem up here, which is kind of made me very twitchy. So we're going to put a fire station out here. And what he said, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, this comes with a strong caveat in the sense that this may change with the updates. And what you do is you put in a heliport there. And we'll just put a gravel road out around here like this and bring you back to there. We'll just hook that up, and then we'll just allocate the fly guys to come and build these roads. And what he said is that if you build a fire station and with a heliport and then fill it with fuel, and as long as it's got power and it's near water, it will actually provide the fire prevention services in this area. So we're going to give that a go. Oh, the other thing somebody did mention in the comments, I've just remembered, and I did do the fix. They said that I was being a bit inefficient with respect to exporting my prefabs here. And the suggestion said that I should be using a distribution office here to export the prefabs instead of using manual routes. And that's what I've done. I've put a couple of open holes in here, and I've set the export condition to anything over 50%. So hopefully what we'll be able to do is get a regular export out to there, and we won't have trucks running backwards and forwards. And I'll be completely honest, I do really need to spend some time overhauling all my distribution routes and buses. And just as a bit of an aside, I mean, you can see the crops are coming in, but the game's going to be primarily on pause throughout this video, because when I'm planning, I just don't like the game running, because I always get the feeling it's going to run away with me and do something really crazy, and before I know it, the populations collapse. This is something you do need to be aware of, is don't let the game run free unless you've got absolute confidence in your economy. And while we're here, I just want to come back to a common subject, is you can see the loyalty is actually improving now. We got a 50, even up to 50% here, but the average is still 42%. Over here, you can see here that the loyalty is 42% here, 50%. So we're also getting a pretty good boost from the radio. So it goes to show that things will work if you've got a chance. And just to show you the loyalty in here, see this is recovering as well. This is back up to the mid 40s. And then over in Ollerton, I'll come over to here and just show you the loyalty here as well. I mean, the loyalty is holding up here. So I think once you get a certain momentum, life makes a difference. And I think if I show you the population breakdown, I think quite a big factor is the ratio between your children and the actual population as well. But things are going quite well. You can see we've got 10,000 odd workers. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is a couple of mods that have been released in the last week, and they've really attracted my attention. And one of them is fairly interesting. And what I want to do is run a test in this series to see if it will work, so I can use it in the Four Corners series. That is, if you come into Monuments and come down here. Oh, the game's reorganized itself. It does this from time to time. As you can see, there's a loudspeaker here, and you can see what you get is a plus 10% boost to loyalty, but only over 50 meters. And it's a very, very small mod. What I'd like to do is put it in about here. I don't really want to have, and we're just gonna pop it there. Zoom right in. You can just barely see it there. And then we're, oops, I'm gonna put footpath there and the footpath there. And the reason I'm putting it next to the shopping centre here is that I'm wondering whether people walking past it will actually improve the loyalty. Anyway, so we're going to put that in there. You can see it's a really small one there, and I'm just interested in, because it's by far a 10% boost to loyalty is something that really works, and it actually made me think a little bit about these other monuments as well. If you look at these monuments, and I've got a feeling this might relate slightly to my Four Corners series. These are percentages, so of course 2.8% of a 20% loyalty is a lot lower than when you get 2.8% of 40% loyalty. So I think what you really need to do is get a little bit of momentum going, get things really working. And I think that now pulls me into this area. I've got one more mod to show you, but I need to talk a little bit about what's going on here. This is a classic case of, oh, I need to do a bit of leveling, which I needed to do here. And before I knew it, I'd spent about an hour and a half working on this area, trying to get it right. So I just want to explain what's going. We're going to start on the right-hand side here. Now, what I've done is I've got this road here, which has been built. So we're getting very close to, once we've got the oil tank finished here and the power laid in, what I want to do, and I've also put a distribution office here, so that we can bring the oil down by road so we can get this oil refinery up and running as soon as possible. And while I was doing that, I suddenly thought, well, we're going to need a lot of power in this area. So what I've done is I've put in a coal-fired power station here. And if we look carefully, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a whole load of grids here, because I was trying to work out how many connections I'd need. Now, if you watch the previous video, be aware that in here I had a gravel unloading area, and I thought, and I kind of looked at this and I think I needed to rework this. Now comes the fun bit, because I've got two coal mines over here. I think this one is 84%, and I think this one is about 92%. So I did a bit of a calculation on how much these would actually produce. And if I come to fossil fuels and show you the coal mine, you can see that you get 4.2 tons of coal ore per worker, and each coal mine has 220 workers. That means each of these mines has a theoretical top capacity of 924 tons of coal ore per day. So then I was looking at how to process this, and you can see that the vanilla coal ore processing plant can do 210 coal ore per day. And I've kind of realized that to be able to process all the output from here, I'd probably need about 8 of those. So what I did is I went into the mods, and I found thank you game, and what I found was this coal ore processing plant here. You can see this does 700 tons of coal ore per day, so 2 of these gives me a capacity of 1400, which I think is a good starting position. But what I've actually done, if I come in here and show you the conveyors, I put a takeoff here so that we got the possibility of adding more coal ore processing on this side. So I could put a third plant here, or possibly a couple of vanilla plants here should I need it. So this is why this is kind of extends out a little bit this way. And what I've got here is I've got a large aggregate store here, which is of course got a capacity of 1950. Now, of course, and I know some of you may think, well, why have you only got one? Well, this is the indicator. If this is full, then we don't have enough capacity here. And what I've done here is something similar to what I did with my gravel production area. I've put two large gravel processing stores here, which hopefully will fill up. And then what we're going to do is hang things off here. This conveyor that comes back this way comes back to a small store here, and this is going to be our heating plant. And again, what I've done is I've put in a takeoff from here, because this is going to be quite a big city time it's finished. So if we need extra heating, I can take a spur off there and say put another heating plant here. And I think that covers what I've done here. Yeah, I put a fire station in there. Now, what I want to show you over here is another new mod. This is from Novu, which is underground conveyors. Now, if I show you in the mod thing, now, if you want to find them, don't look in conveyors. It's for some odd reason they are in the storage area. I think it's classified like that. Simply, where did that come from? I think the game's reorganized all my mods again. I wish there was a way that you could search in alphabetical order or something like that, or age, but I don't know. So what Novu's created is these mods here, and what they are actually are underground conveyors. So you can get a little section like this, but be aware that when you get, I think it's a 200, there must be some limit on the distance, because when you get to the bigger ones like the 300s, you've got these extra spaces in between. Now, and what I want to do is give you quite an important demo, because if, say for example, I put one in here, and this is the reason why that faint line is across the map here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 150 in, because this is roughly where we're going to be putting it, like that. So if I put that in there, you can see what you've got is a connection. There's a lot of stacking, because this is bi-directional. We just kind of winch that there. So if you put that in there, you think you've got your underground conveyor, but be aware that you can't build across them. So what you've got to do, I think you've got what you've got to do is build the infrastructure first. So what I'm going to do here is put in some infrastructure, and this comes down to the comment I said when I was talking about the fire station, because I must admit I've never been a great fan of cableways, but what I really want to do is give them a go here. So what I'm going to do is put a cableway in. We're going to go for a big one, because we're going to need lots of passengers out here. Completely honest, I'm not exactly too sure what I'm doing here. And what we're going to do is put you in about there, and we're going to have to bring an asphalt road out. We've got to cross that position there. I can't break into this road because it's still under construction, unfortunately. We also, and I think we're just going to accept that, and then I can tag off the end of that road there. And then this is the important one that I want to put in, is that one there. We're going to accept that. Then of course what we're going to have to do is put in the towers. Now I'm not sure which is the best one to use, light or heavy. Well, I mean, light ones use a lot less steel, but I'm not sure if there's a capacity issue. What I noticed was Billboard Jones seemed to be more inclined towards heavy cableways. What I'm going to do is, we've got to press E. Something I get is we're going to put in this here. I think it's got to make sure that these are, and we're going to put that there. Now what I am going to do is I've kind of prepared this area here. If we flip that, I can put this one just on this corner here, because this is going to be a passenger line. So we're just going to drop you in there. Hopefully we're get you It's a bit wonky, but game work. But path back there. And we're going to go back. What I want to do is put all the up. And what I'm hoping now, I know these can't turn sharp corners, so we're going to have to. I'm hoping that if I can just follow this curve of the road round like this, we can get all the way to that other station. Maybe if we can get that there, we can get another one in there. I'm hoping that that is going to be right. We don't really need the asphalt roads here. So these are a little bit distant away. So we've now got this in position. Now comes the proof. And you can see what I'm going to do. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Oops. And what we're going to do is put this in here. Now, I know some of you are going to point out that this is unnecessary. I could do it with ordinary conveyors. I'm doing this purely as a demo for the possibilities of this. And if it doesn't work, I can just replace it with a normal conveyor. And just want to make sure that road connection is... I can get a road out the back, because I think we can get a road out the back that way. And we can come that way, so we've got the connection. I mean, I don't think this is something you can use extensively, but if you're in a crowded area and you do need to get a conveyor, especially under another conveyor or something like that, I think this is got a lot of potential, and it's certainly worth considering. So that is that bit there. And of course, what I'm going to need to do is actually put a more conventional conveyor in here. So we're going to come into... I think we're going to have to kind of dogleg this one a little bit. Try and turn that a little bit that way. Wow, I'll just do it this way. Then we'll remove you. And then come back to here. I don't think this will connect. What we'll probably have to do is that one's no good actually. That's wrong. Okay, let's just do this properly. I need that way. I could actually do it that way, couldn't I? And feed into that one, although it might be more efficient to actually feed into the store directly. One thing I've never really been able to calculate is the capacity of conveyors. So if I put you in a little bit like that, and then take out that one, and what that will do is connect both mines to here. So that gets the coal production area running. Now comes the fun bit. I've got a connection to here where there's a road. We've got our coal-fired power station here. What I want to do now is we're going to put in a... I think it's it'd be easier just to find it from here. I want to put a small aggregate store. Say about... Actually, that's... Like, that road's on the wrong side. If I flip that, we could put the road there, but then the conveyors are on the wrong side. I think what we'll do is, because what I want is to bring the coal across here. So that's the wrong way round. So if I flip that way, Go away, tag. I think what we'll have to do is put this back about here, like that. I want to keep away from that power connector. I also want another road up here. So I think what we'll do is we'll put another one of these in, so that we get a direct span across here, and it allows me to bring another road up officially rather than squeezing it under the conveyors. And I think if I change the road here, if we put this out here like that, and if I bring a road up, actually no, I can go that way, and okay, back to there. You can go this way. I don't really want to split that road, so if I come, let me just see. We've got this road that comes up from here, which comes across to there. I mean, ideally, maybe just come, make sure that fits there, and then we can take a road out through here. This can come back this way. But what we need in here is another conveyor belt connection. Give me conveyor belts everywhere here. And if we put in conveyor belt connection there, the footpath can come from here to there. What that does now is it gives me a coal connection across here. Now, if I show you here, we've got power takeoffs here, because what I want to build out here is a cement plant and a prefab plant. But before we do anything else, what I want to do off of this side here, let me just check this. Sorry, I keep coming back to the mods. Is I want to put in a train yard here for aggregate loading. Where is it? That's there. Where was it here? It's train loading. And I would put the yard here like this. It's the right way around, isn't it? The road's facing this way. And because no, I just want it facing in that direction. And actually, if we push that out a little bit that way. So because one of the functions of this area is going to be supplying in domestic heating coal to the map. In fact, I'm just going to change that road now. Oops. Take you off there. And we're put you across to there. And we'll just accept that road there. And actually, I'm going to put the road in here and split this. I want to make sure that I don't cut this road off as part of what I'm doing here. Now, what I want now is we've got this takeoff here, and what I want to do. Oh, oops, the game's running. Oh, well, that's the way it goes. I mean, I could probably let the game run, but it just makes me a bit nervous. Now, what was I doing? Oh yeah, construction industry. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the vanilla construction buildings for cement and prefabs, because if you look at that, I mean, it's going to take 22 tons of coal, 210 tons of gravel, produce 81 tons of cement. So it's going to be pretty good. And what I would like to do is actually, I think I might actually come that way. I was going to take it off of here, but looking at this, I think it might be better to actually put it there, isn't it? So if we put it here, and we can take off that main spur there. So just put this in. I'm just going to push it out a little bit more that way. And I want to make a little bit more space here. I'm going to try and make sure we got plenty of room on the flat. We can probably pull it back this way a bit. So we got that there. Just going to remove this one. Now what I've got to do now is put back in the gravel unloading here, because we've got to deliver gravel to here. So we need aggregate unloading. What I'd like to do, if possible, is, I mean, we use conveyors to connect this up, and what we'll do is we don't really need the connections here. We're gonna have to get a road round, get things done. So we're gonna just put you in there like that. Then we'll have to, oops, put the track in to here like that. And we'll cross over about there. That now gets the gravel delivered to there. I'm gonna have to put the road system in here because we need to make sure that we got space for that, and I need to bring the road out around here. We'll just level up this. You there. This is where it tells me, oh no, I can do that connection there. I can do that connection. Yeah, I'm just going to put them in so that I can, because this comes back across the actual terminals here, which is a bit of a potential problem. I think we can just put in a normal, just a single line conveyor there. That will take the gravel to the cement plant here. Of course, we're going to need to get workers out here. Now the next thing we're going to need is storage. We have to put a dry bulk container in. So we're going to have to kind of store in from that road back to here. Right, what I want to do is put you in about there. Then maybe we've got a bit of space here, so we can just push you out a little bit. Try and get that as far as it will go. So we got that there. Now the next thing I would like to do, now we're going to need to export cement around the map, so we're going to need to put this in as well. So probably, again, I would like to kind of push out this way a little bit, like something. Actually, let me just flip that the other. Actually, we'll put it that way, because I can send the road back towards where the other one is, because these are loading roads, so there's no real the only reason for vehicles to come out here is for fire. Maybe we'll just curve that out a little bit like that. That gives me export for coal, for aggregate, and then we're coming to here, and oops. Now the next thing I want out here is the prefab panel. Okay, we're gonna have to flip it that way. So we're gonna need you to come here like that. This is getting very extensive. Okay, so we've got that there. What's the workforce for how many workers? Needs 65 at maximum. Cement plant needs 30. So we're talking 95 workers in this area. I think we're just going to rework these roads a little bit. I think if I put a road, we need a bus station up here, aren't we? Because we're going to have to bring the workers up through from here to here. And then we'll need to be able to drop them off in 2 locations here. We only need a normal. Oops, don't want that one. Put this one in here. We put a bus stop about there. Say like about there. You hook to there. Goes without saying that this would be. You can hook to there. Then we can hook you to there. You can come out. Make sure that you've got. Oops, no. Get rid of you. Yep, and then this one can come down to here when the time comes. And what we need to do now is get another conveyor. Conveyors everywhere. This is what I was worried about. Right, we'll have to come through like that. Then we'll have to put a road base one here. And then we'll hook up where it can get a bit messy sometimes, because it won't hook to there. And then we'll just need to make sure we don't need that. We can get a gravel road out there, and of course we hate the footpath, so we're just going to accept. Oops. This is case sensitive. And then if we footpath connection there, so that gives me the ability to produce cement and prefabs. So what I'm going to need now, because we're going to want to be able to export the prefabs. I'm not too worried about the having to pick them up. I think what we'll do now is we'll just. I think the next step is got to be putting some storage in for the prefabs. I think I've got some quite nice large. Probably a bit too big. 1250. Multi-rail 1250. I put you, say, about there. Again, we're going to point everything in that direction. And what I could do then is we'll put you here. Maybe back a little bit, like that. That will give us that connection there. Just had a thought, actually. We've got plenty of height here. If we could come across here. We can put a road connection there and a road connection there, and we'll just accept that. What that means, it gives us another way in from here, mainly from a fire perspective. So we've now got a, let's flip to rail. We got a prefab pickup point. We've got what's this? This is the dry bulk, isn't it? And then we've got the coal. So the next thing is we need to get the rail out of here. Now, originally I was going to run everything off of here, but I'm not so sure now. My inclination is to run a completely new track in from here, because I think we've probably built enough here for one city. So I think this space here is not going to be used for anything. I think we can run a track through here. But the problem is we're going to have to cross this road. I think the other problem also is going to be range on my construction offices. I don't want to cut across this road. I know technically it's a temporary road, but I think, let me just see, because we're going to have to raise the ground level. Right, we can get out of here. So this is about the limit. Let me just turn on F2. So we've got to come off of here, here, and here on a series of connecting joints like this. And we're just going to zoom in here. Kind of wondering, that looks as though it's slightly raised. Just wondering whether we could actually go under rather than over. Let me just see. Kind of cut in down on this side here. Up this back here. We get to leveling now. We can. One thing you can do is chase the contour lines like that, and we can just squish in on that. Okay, there we are, guys. So I've managed to get a tunnel under there. What I've got to do now is get the trains, the track out of here, which is going to be fun because it's going to be very steep and it's going to tell me that it can't be built. So what I have to do is sculpt this in a little bit here, kind of stretch things out so that we've got the height. I mean, we've got rising height here anyway, so we can. I'm just going to work on this out here. Once it starts to turn slightly orangey, we might just be able to get the track out. No, still too. Nope. We see, once we've got the potential, we can create a nice big cutting through here. Kind of. Just get you on this side. Well, make the cutting a little bit bigger. And we'll just cut there. And this connection has to be bi-directional, so kind of bring you out here. That pick you up, hopefully pick you up. Make this quite extravagant because we might have quite long trains coming through here. We've got that there. That's what I've got to do now is get this out. Oh, that worked quite well. So we're going to have to kind of get you up to there. Get you on this side as well, so we got enough width. Track. So we got the track coming out there. Now the next thing I've got to do is get maneuver through. Oops. I'm going to do it in straightish lines, I think. And then I'm going to come across, kind of try and curve this round a little bit like that. And I want to give myself plenty of space to do all these various connections. So run you all the way round into there. Of course, we're going to need a crossover here, like that. Then we're bring this one out like that, nice and long again. There's no chance of trains getting stuck, even if they are quite long. You can come into there like that. And then we're just you there, you there. and we've got this line here. Now we could have multiple lines from here, but I think a double, I think if we start from this side and we run out and you can run into there like that. Make sure that it's evenly spaced. You can come into there and just make that connection there. Just get rid of the contour lines. So what we got now is we've got the ability to connect to this line. We've got a connection for prefabs, what we call it, cement and coal. And so what this will eventually become is our main prefab cement and coal, domestic coal production area. So we're just going to accept that track. And I think that is about all I want to do in this city. You can see we've got a massive amount of industry here, which is going to take quite a lot of time to put together. In fact, I'm just going to pause the game and we're just going to, just to wind this video up, we'll just do a little bit of kind of check what everyone's about now. I don't think these guys are doing very much because I deliberately... Oh, they've actually built that road there. Haha. Put these guys on a couple of roads just as an assist, because we've got roads everywhere. I think actually I've got a bit of a problem here. Oh no, we've got the paver out here. Actually, there's another neat little trick I saw. It wasn't Bilbo Jones, it was somebody else. He's got two pavers. I've got to find a construction office that needs something like 2 rollers or 2 pavers. Just to give you a bit of a demonstration of what you can do. Actually, just want to check. This iron store is getting quite low. And I found it because, of course, when I set my initial train up, I didn't actually give it 100% capacity. Actually, we got this kind of road crew out here, haven't we? Kind of not doing very much at all, I don't think. We've got no power supply, but yeah, I mean, this town out here is going quite well. This is going to be one of my next objectives. In fact, I think, just to give you a demo, I just really want to show you this, guys, because it's a very small feature and something that it's not intuitively obvious, but I think it will be quite useful. Especially, oh, we got a fire, but where's the fire? Oh, it's in Colville, so it's okay. So what I want to show you is, if you come in here, we're gonna we've got 6 million, so we're okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy a large open hole. It's got to be a big one. We're gonna buy this one. This has got 16 tons carry capacity. We're gonna buy a paver, and we're gonna buy a roller. I think this should be quite. Oh, that's quite neat. Pretty heavy though. Now, I hope this is going to work. I was going to look a complete idiot. We come in here and put you on there. And then if we come here and do this, what you'll see is that the truck can carry both a paver and a roller at the same time, as long as they don't actually exceed the weight. So you can actually carry multiple vehicles on one large open hole. And I think that is a spin-off effect of containers. So what we're going to do is just send him to there. Actually, I don't think you actually need to be on this one. Zipper Plus. What we can do is get these guys going out here, building this. So I say, going forward now, we're going to move our attention towards this area here. What's that saying? Bony guy. Is that a bony guy, or is it? It's B-O-N-Y-G-A-I. YGY. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Yeah, so our next big planning expedition is going to be out here. I've got some pretty grand plans for this, including a local tram netway. I think overall things are going pretty well. I don't think we've got any real problems. I think the population is growing slowly and steadily. We're up to 17,753 now. Probably just take a quick look here. Unemployment due to small children, but I've got a feeling that is over here. Oh, the other thing I also realised is that I hadn't actually put a road connection in here. Actually, just check what my construction offices are up to. What I've been doing is pushing them right out here as hard as possible. What I'm trying to do is build up this area here. You can work on that cinema. And then what we're going to do is build all this in, build our city up here. I'm considering is putting a farm near here as well, because I'm starting to think that we're going to need to get some food production out here. Although none of the terrain around here is particularly that flat, which could be an issue. Oh, we've now got this built. This is pretty good. So we're going to get that just done there. Get this finished and hope. Let's just go and see what the fire station is doing. Our helicopter crews are building the fire station here. We've got oil here, but we don't have a power supply. I did put one in, but I'm not sure if these guys are actually... I think they're building it. It's just that they're a little bit kind of overloaded. They want mechanisms. It's going to be an issue. And what I probably really need to do is just get back across. Oh, I'm going to have to use the map, I think. Because it's starting to get to a size now. I think what I'm going to really need to do is get this second helicopter construction office in place and probably give this a bit more emphasis on worker ones. Let me just see. I think generally everything is going good. We're not making much impact on that there. One concern is steel, because we're going through a lot of steel at the moment with respect to laying tracks. And I did notice that my steel mills were struggling a little bit to keep up. But I think this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. What I will do is play on to the new year, because I need everything to settle down a little bit and start to get a little bit of production going. But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.